Hi, I'm Marco Campagna and I work in the energy regulation sector. If you are looking for a podcast that helps you better understand the many aspects of the energy world, go ahead and listen. Okay, I am Marco Campagna and I am here with Tim Schittekatte and working in the Florence School of Regulation and the MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And let's speak about the price cap of gas. Everyone is speaking about this in Europe, especially in Italy, but not only in Italy. Everyone speaks about this, but nobody understood what can really be and how can really be implemented a price cap in Europe or only in some countries. So what can you tell me, explain me about this? Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you for having me. It's a very complicated question because, you say a price cap because what exactly are we capping and how is not very clear. There are several ideas. Maybe one idea would be to kind of cap the price of only Russian gas, which is basically just putting an import tax on Russian gas. There are some ideas about that. There's several problems with that. One issue would be that it would be an aggression, economic aggression from the EU itself, which could directly agitate Russia to cut the gas today, which might be a bigger problem than if we manage to keep it supplying for longer. There's other issues with WTO, and I'm not a lawyer, but there's legal implications which might in the end lead to court cases which the EU might lose and lose a lot of money. At the same time, I wonder how valid that argument is because we already saw Russia breaking several contracts. So why would we not be able to break some contract if they are doing it? But again, I'm not a lawyer. I think the ideas are about the other price cap ideas. There's the idea to cap the TTF today, but that would really be a problem because we then attract directly less LNG today because prices would be lower, and I'm meaning capping the TTF spot. I think one of the most promising ideas, which also is very close to what the European Commission at least has been discussing, at least the person who's behind the idea is Carsten Neuhoff, and he is close to the Commission. I would call it's a conditional price cap on the spot TTF. It's conditional because the idea is to right now write into EU regulation, into the security of supply regulation, that the moment an interruption happens, and I don't know how easy to define that is because these things are happening gradually, so maybe the moment price hits an incredibly unreasonable level, let's say 200 or something, you cap the price, and you cap it to a level, he proposes 50 euros per megawatt hour. And the idea is that, okay, by saying that when this very bad scenario happens, we're going to cap the price, you will actually make the prices of today calm down. Because the reason that the prices are so high today for gas and as such for electricity is that they calculate that scenario, that there is the disruption, have a massive kind of supply shortage almost, and in order to make supply and demand meet, in order to take away the LNG that would otherwise go to Asia, you have a very high price. And that scenario is incalculated wherefore prices are very high today. So the moment you say we're going to cap the price at a reasonable level when this happens, prices of today would calm down. And it's also not an aggression towards Russia because you don't put a price cap on it. You only put it when they move first. So in that sense, it is not a sort of an active attack. It's a reaction to if you do that, I do that idea. But the problem with it is the moment you cap the gas at 50, there's an issue with, first of all, storage. Like if you are storing right now at high prices and the moment your storage will be squeezed out, you might actually get a lower price than you got while injecting the gas, which is sometimes you could say, okay, why would I store now? But that's where these regulations come in for the 90%. But there will be money missing, right? So somebody has to pay for that difference. Another problem is that if you cap the price to 50 in the middle of the winter, you will lose out for some LNG that will not come to Europe, that would have come to Europe the moment you have high prices, but is now going to China or Korea or Japan. Now you can think maybe the Americans, they are solidaire with Europe. Maybe you can say the Chinese or the Japanese, Korea, if they're not that bad, they might not go that far. But in the same paper, it is estimated that the moment you put the price at about 50 versus you put the price at 300, the amount of difference you attract in LNG is actually not that bad, because there's already a lot of LNG which is just interested in a price of 50. And he calculates something like, if you would cap the gas at 50, you would miss out 5 or 6% of what you need. And actually the cost of having 5 or 6% less than you need at a low price might be lower than the cost of having everything you need at a very, very high price. And he does this calculation. So that is the idea of the conditional price cap, which right now there's a lot of discussion about it, but I think it's, as far as I understand, the proposal that comes closest to what we might see. And I think it's not great, because actually the choice you make is, do we want gas at all costs? We have enough gas for everybody, but we're going to pay a lot because that price will be set for everything. Or do we allow really a sort of gap in terms of, we will have to destruct some demand or anything. We have a lack, but it might remain more affordable than in the other scenario. Is that less painful? That is, I think, the question that right now is really fundamental in these two options. So that would be, so the import tax or a cap only on Russian gas, hard, maybe not the best. A direct price cap today on TTF, a direct aggression, all kind of trouble. A cap in Brussels, a conditional price cap, maybe the smartest idea, not without any, let's say, negative things. There are problems with it, but it's maybe the least of all problems. And I can send you the paper where everything is more the implementation and the details, and that's just what I understand and what I think could be the major things. So.
Okay. Very thank you, Tim Schittekatte from MIT, and have a good day. Bye-bye.